James for the untouchable, true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so there's quite a lot of layers to unpack here, and I'm going to do my best to unpack them and talk about the future of Devin Haney. But we'll start with the news, because it was reported from the actual Vada official Twitter account themselves. They stated the following, and I quote, Vada testing welcomes Devin Haney to our 24/7, 365-day program that will extend to January 2nd, 2026. So, you know, let me say this. I think it's always commendable when a fighter enrolls in 24/7, 365-day-a-year testing. There's not a lot of fighters over the years that I know of that have actually enrolled in this because, for one, even if a fighter doesn't want to enroll in this type of testing, it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive, and a lot of fighters can't afford. Let's just be honest. Fighters have a lot of expenses. Fighters have to be self-financed in most cases, and you know, training camps are expensive, and just maintaining the lifestyle of a boxer is expensive, and really and truthfully, most fighters can't afford it, right? But you know, over the years, I know like Nonito Donaire was someone that did this kind of testing. I think Julian Williams might have done testing like this as well back in the day. So I think it's a good thing for Devin Haney. Like I'm not downplaying it. My only question would be, right, because the whole like premise of Devin Haney and why he's mad at Ryan Garcia is that Ryan Garcia took steroids. So he's been coming from a place of like he's the clean guy, right? Because he didn't test positive for anything on fight night, right? But my thing is, if you're just non-enrolling for 24/7, 365 testing, that begs the question of why weren't you already enrolled in it since you're taking this place of having the higher moral ground? That's my question. And on top of that, you know, I'm just gonna be honest and just throw it out there, right? As the great saying goes, there's no better way to stop car thefts than a great car thief. And Victor Conti, like I growing up as a kid, obviously I did like boxing, but baseball was probably my favorite sport to watch as a kid. Baseball, right? So I know all about Victor Conti. I watched the Balco scandal and the hearings on Capitol Hill, and Rafael Palmeira wagging his finger at the U.S. court saying I never took steroids, all that stuff. And so for me, even though I'm covering boxing now and I'm almost 30 now, every time I see Victor Conti, I think of Barry Bonds. I think of all these guys that he has a history with, right? And Victor Conti is a very, very intelligent man. You know, you could accuse Victor Conti of a lot of things, but you can never accuse Victor Conti of being stupid. And he's a very intelligent, very well-spoken man. This guy has snack, right? His whole snack supplements, and you know, there's been an ongoing thing on debates in the boxing community for years. You know, can Victor Conti be trusted? Because all these substances that he's been giving out, you know, he's a smart guy. He knows how to beat the test. So you know, a lot of people have speculated over the years that a lot of these substances that he gives his fighters through the snack program give them an advantage. So my thing is, like, he's always advocated for Vada, but who would know how to beat a Vada test better than Victor Conti? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So there's that. But I've heard mixed things about Vada. You know, not from I'm not talking about from boxing fans. I'm talking about through fighters. Like some fighters think Vada is great because it puts things on an even playing field, right? I've heard some fighters tell me otherwise. I heard some fighters say that, you know, tell me personally that, you know, they've went to Vada to try to get the results from Dr. Margaret Goodman, and Dr. Margaret Goodman has really and truthfully, like, not been the most cooperative in trying to get results of the opponents of said fighters. So it's like, you know, I really don't know. I really don't know, because boxing, when there's this much money involved and there's this much like stuff on the line, people will do anything. And so I don't trust none of, to be honest, USADA, Vada, WADA, Africa, Bambada, I don't trust none of these drug testing agencies. I'm just gonna be honest. I reserve a healthy amount of skepticism for all of them, right? So, you know, I guess good on Devin Haney for enrolling in 365 testing. Let's see what Ryan does. Let's see what his response is, because I know that he was trying to sue Vada, and he was saying they contaminated his test. But, like I was saying, yeah, Ryan Garcia had a big thing with Victor Conti and Vada, so we'll see what his response to all this is. Really and truly, another thing I'll say, last thing about Vada and all this, right, is Vada works directly with the WBC, or at least, I don't know if they still do, but I know at one point in time they were working with the WBC as part of the clean boxing program, the CBP, which is the program they had for fighters ranked in the top 15 that they had to enroll, otherwise they were out the rankings, right? And I don't, look, I know no matter what your stance on Vada is, I think most boxing fans can agree that the WBC throughout all the years has shown plenty of cases of reasons to not be trusted. And they work with Vada, so you don't think like a company like the WBC could manipulate Vada or Margaret Goodman? I mean, just my opinion. Just my opinion, just my skepticism thinking out loud here. But yeah, Devin Haney's won Vada now, so good for him. I would just like to know, like, why, since he's taking the moral high ground, why wasn't he already involved in 24/7 365 testing? Why is this now a new thing? It's kind of interesting. The timing of it is kind of interesting, right? But anyway, Devin Haney also did tease a return. He said that in March, he'll be back in March, and that's good news. I mean, if he fights right in March, then he still can't fight Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia had a 1 year, I believe it was a 1 year suspension, and they fought April, was it 10th or 20th of last year? So Ryan he'll be towards the end of his suspension, but he'd still be on a suspension. So if he comes back, that begs the question of who he could fight next. I've been a big advocate for the Richards and Hitchens fight. I think Hitchens and Devin Haney is a good fight, because it's a chance for Devin to pick off a belt, win a title against a guy that isn't known as a big puncher, so he can test his punch resistance out and kind of get his feet wet and see if he can beat Hitchens. I even have doubts. Like, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people have negative things to say about Devin Haney and his style, which can sometimes be very negative. I know people have a lot of bad things to say about Hitchens in his style, which can sometimes be very negative. But to be honest, they're very similar. And Hitchens has a world-class jab, and I think Hitchens has the skills to beat Devin Haney. I honestly do. I think Devin Haney and Hitchens are very, very similar. I've even had a line. I said that I don't understand why people have all this energy for Richards and Hitchens, but they love Devin Haney, because in my opinion, in my eyes, the way I see it, Devin Haney is just Richards Hitchens with better marketing and more hype. That's really what it is. They fight similar. It's just that one guy has more hype and marketing and one guy doesn't. One guy was picked to be one of the best fighters in boxing from a young age. The other guy, was maybe the promotions fighter that couldn't get fights. So they had different paths as far as their career, but they fight very, very similar. So I would like that fight. I think that'd be a really good fight. Or, of course, Devin Haney could always wait till Ryan Garcia is off his 1 year suspension, and Devin Haney could go ahead and just go straight into the Ryan fight, get it back in blood. And I feel like that's what he needs to do. I think for his sake, like, the more time that passes that he doesn't fight Ryan Garcia, the less confident he'll be. In my opinion, I'm not on Devin's head, but this is just my observation. I feel like he needs to go exercise those demons right away. In life, when things don't go your way, you don't want to have time to linger on and overthink, because your mind can play tricks on you, and your confidence can diminish, and you can overthink things. I think Devin just needs to go in there, get whatever he feels he needs in the rematch to be comfortable to take that fight, get that in order, and go in there and beat him. Because, even though he did get put on his ass twice, because he did. Devin got put on his ass twice, and he couldn't defend the left hook to save his life. He couldn't defend a left hook or a fish hook that night. Ryan was beating the brakes off of him in those spots, but when Devin Haney was able to get on the front foot and push Ryan back and slow the pace down, Devin had a lot of success. It was a closer fight than most people remember, right? Because people just remember those big moments from Ryan Garcia, but outside of the big moments, I think Devin Haney was getting a lot of the better of the non-big moments the rest of the fight. So I think there's definitely a path to victory for him. I think he should go back in there and go try to get it back in blood, because if he can just slightly neutralize that left hook in those big moments from Ryan Garcia, he beats Ryan Garcia. And I don't think there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made. I just think he needs to tweak a couple things, and he can beat him. So I don't like him waiting around too long and taking all 2 fights. No. I think it'd be good to just get it back in blood. Mind you, Ryan Garcia, we know he didn't live the best life as far as being a fighter for the first fight. But, you know, he hasn't really been fighting, like, since the Devin fight, because he's been on suspension. You can't trust that Ryan Garcia has, you know, looked after himself in terms of being the most physically in shape. I think Devin should capitalize on that. Don't give Ryan Garcia a chance to get all this motivation from getting off suspension and get in shape. No, go right at him, make your adjustments, and try to go ahead and beat him up. You know, I think there's a clear path to victory for Devin Haney. And you guys know I'm not no big Devin Haney fan or anything like that. But I can be honest, like, he can definitely beat Ryan. It was a very close fight. I think Ryan may have won 114, 112 on a couple of the scorecards. I can't remember the exact scorecard, but I know it was a close fight. So that's the news. Devin Haney enrolls in 24/7, 365 testing with Vada, which is a good thing. I have my skepticisms of Vada, but I have my skepticisms of everybody. I have my skepticisms of every testing agency, every promoter. That's how I am. I've seen too much in boxing to just outright trust anybody, right? So that being said, you guys let me know what you think. What do you guys think of Devin Haney enrolling in Vada? And do you think he should fight Ryan Garcia straight away, right after Ryan comes off suspension? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you click right over here.